The new year is right around the corner, and many of us have probably already drawn out our New Year's resolutions. However, even while drafting your resolutions, you probably have this nagging feeling that once again you won't follow through. Why this annoying cycle of drafting New Year's resolutions, sticking through till the end of January or maybe mid-February, and then waiting till December to draft another one? And what can be done about it, if anything? I'll try to answer those questions in this video, so be sure to stick around to the end. Why we do not stick with our New Year's resolutions and how we can change the narrative. It is important to point out that you're not a weak person or a failure because you couldn't keep your New Year's resolutions. In the broad sense, we fail to achieve our New Year's resolutions because we have a poor strategy. It isn't necessarily a reflection of the type of the person that we are. So, with that in mind, let's see those strategies that we get wrong and how we can restructure them. Your goals are not specific enough. Interestingly, this is nothing new. If you've ever read a self-help book or listened to a motivational speaker, you know to have specific goals. But for some reasons, we still do not. Now, having specific resolutions is not just about writing down exactly what you want. Like saying, I want to run a 5K marathon. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, it is about writing down exactly what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and with whom you want it, if that's applicable. Goal or resolution setting needs to be detailed, and so you can just do it in passing or when you're preoccupied. Give yourself some time to think about exactly what you want to do and when, and take your time to draw these things out. Give yourself some time to think about exactly what you want and take your time to draw these things out. For instance, saying or writing, I want to run a 5K marathon before the end of this year is just wishful thinking. If you'll be drafting your resolutions, that needs to include where you want to run the marathon. You need to know those cities where marathons are run and pick what city will work for you. When exactly you want to run it, there are specific dates when marathons are run. Pick a date that is convenient for you, and even who you'll run it with if you don't want to run it alone. Having this pre-planned as much as possible could give you the boost you need when the time comes. You start too big. There is the temptation to pen down enormous goals, thinking that the enormity of the goals will push us to achieve them. However, it is the exact opposite. At the time of penning down these huge resolutions, you feel good at the prospect of achieving them, but when it comes time to execute, everything just seems too scary. So start small. Take it one day at a time. Do you want to run a 5K marathon? Start with going to the gym or jogging on your street, and bear in mind that the big goal might not even happen in this year. Set daily or weekly goals for yourself and celebrate yourself when you ace those. Those small victories will not only culminate in a huge victory, but would also encourage you to press for the huge victory. Starting small is something that we already know to do, but most of us are not writing down those small goals as our resolution. We just have them somewhere at the back of our minds as something we ought to do to be able to achieve what we've penned down. So when we achieve those small goals, they do not seem like an achievement to us and we just stop altogether. This is something I found out this year. I'm getting older and eating healthy has become something I aspire towards. But over the years, I've found that I start well enough, but over time I just go back to eating the way I've always eaten. So earlier this year, I decided to rewrite. Instead of having eat healthy in my journal, I decided to start smaller. So I had things like stop taking soda, buy a water bottle and have that with you every time, eat breakfast, and just small things like that. And I found that they were easier to stick with. Granted, pursuing these smaller goals mean that there were those areas of eating healthy I wasn't doing anything about. But if I had gone with the huge scary goal, there would have been no part of healthy eating that I would have been doing anything about. So yeah, this could work for you too. Now, still talking about goals that are too big, you also do not want to set goals that are too many. You cannot pursue 1 million things at the same time. You'll end up dropping way too many balls at getting frustrated. Try to focus on one or two or maybe three things at the same time, say in the same month, instead of trying to give your life a complete overhaul in just 1 year. You do not factor difficulties. No matter how small your goals, they won't always be easy to achieve. Sometimes you're just tired and don't want to exercise. Sometimes you're just craving Coca-Cola when the goal was to stay off soda. And if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we'll sometimes fall into those temptations. However, staying down when you fall is never the solution. If it happens one day that you don't exercise or you drink Coca-Cola, continue with your goal the next day. Don't give up and continue down to the path of anti-goal. You won't always do what you have to do. But when that day comes, don't beat yourself up. Pick yourself up and continue on your resolution journey. It will be worth it in the end. I do hope that this video has been of help to you. See you in the next video, Man of Word. And if you want to check some New Year's resolution ideas, you can definitely check our description because you'll find an article about this on our website.